Hey Scott, hey everyone else. So this week I got 2 runs done. Not very impressive at all. I think even last week I mentioned I was going to do a 10k on Sunday and I didn't. So I went to do it and then I decided that I wanted to try for like a 45-minute 10k, so 4:30 pace, and that was a little bit tough for me. So I pulled out at the 4k mark and I only did another 5k earlier in the week. So 9 kilometers total. So nothing impressive, but at least I got those 2 runs done. But I actually learned something really helpful this week, to do with how your brain works, and I think it'll actually really help me a lot moving forward with my running. So it was about how the amygdala. I'm not a brain expert, psychologist, or whatever, but as far as I understand it, we have the amygdala, which reacts to stress or stressful or dangerous, whatever sort of situations, and your body can generally cope fairly well. Like, it has a good range of how it copes. They call it that the window of tolerance of where you can function well in a stressful environment even. But once your body exceeds or gets outside of that window of tolerance, you start to have those negative reactions to stress. So the most common one that you think of is sort of like maybe a panic attack sort of thing, where your body goes into that fight or flight reflex and is like, man, I'm in a dangerous situation, I have to get out of this and be safe. So it puts you in all, whatever it is, whether you're getting ready to fight or you run or you freeze, whatever it is. They call that a hyper arousal, where you're on edge and like really ready for something to happen. But then I also learned that there's this other reaction that you can have to stress, which is hypo arousal, which is basically the opposite of hyper. So a really slow reaction to it, which usually results in feeling fatigue, low motivation, just feeling down in general. And so that's really interesting to think about, because I've never really thought about that, but it makes a lot of sense. And so how that plays into my running is, I've noticed that I have a lot of those feelings already with running. Like, I have low motivation, fatigue, not really wanting to get out there, and that's a really not helpful thing. But the really positive thing about your amygdala is that it actually is trained to respond in those ways. So basically, if I have feelings of low motivation or fatigue, that's sort of because I'm sort of overthinking my run maybe, or I'm feeling like it's going to be too much work, or it just feels like a big stress to try and fit it in a day, and it overwhelms me, even though it's not like crazy overwhelmed. It's more like a low sort of hypo overwhelmed, and it ends up with me just really struggling to get out and go for a run. And so because the amygdala is trained to respond in that way, basically it'll have that response based off your thoughts or whatever is going through your head, and then it monitors how you respond to that stimulus it's putting into your brain. Hope this makes sense, but this is how I understand it. So basically on a run day, and I'm like, oh man, I really don't feel like going for a run. I got low motivation, not feeling like it. It's going to be a huge effort to get it done. Those are all the thoughts that are going through my brain and causing me not to want to get out and go for a run, and making me feel really hard to get out there. And then if I choose to stay home and like, oh no, I just won't run today, and procrastinate it, then my brain, my amygdala is like, oh man, all those things that I was thinking, worried about, not having much motivation for, those are actually all legit reasons, because you didn't actually go out for a run, so you must have agreed with me. So next time I'll make it even harder for you to get out and go for that run. Make those feelings even stronger, because like it's actually bad if we go for a run, because it's too much effort, too hard. So I don't know, it's really interesting. And so obviously the way that you fight against that is to not to train it the opposite direction, even though you have those thoughts and feelings. To actually get out and go for that run will train your amygdala to actually like lessen that feeling until maybe even to the point where it doesn't exist anymore. But there's always going to be hard days to get out to go for runs. But it's just about being consistent. It's really obvious stuff, but it's just really interesting to think about how your body adapts to how you how you train, or different things that you do. And yeah, I just thought it was really interesting to think about the psychology of it, and I notice that a lot with my running. So anyway, I hope that all made sense, and it might even be helpful for you as you think about maybe there's areas in your life that you want to retrain your amygdala to respond to. I don't know. But yeah, that's something I'm going to think about moving forward. And so next week, next week, I'm hoping to be more consistent. Because I've noticed lately I've been skipping lots of runs, and even as I mentioned in one of my last runs, I didn't even go out, didn't finish my run. That's a really bad thing. So next week, I know it's going to be hard, but I know I just have to push through it, because my marathon is coming up in 9 weeks. So I'm starting to think, if it does go ahead, which is still unsure, but if it does go ahead, I need to be ready. So I need to be running well. So I'm planning to do running by minutes next week, and my goal will be 300 minutes done in the week, which comes up to about 5 hours. That's 300 minutes. So yeah, it's a big goal. It'll be a lot of running, but yeah, I'm just going to take it super easy and just get out for those runs, and hopefully retrain my amygdala a little bit and make it easier for me to get out and do it and be consistent and get back into that habit. So yeah, I'm hopeful moving forward, and I think I should be able to do it. We'll see how I go next week, I suppose. All right, I'll catch you guys in my next video. Thanks for joining me on this, I don't know what it was, monologue about what I'm learning, but yeah, it has been really encouraging for me, and thanks for listening, I guess. Hope it was helpful for you in some way. I'll catch you guys in my next video. See ya.